Hi, I'm Anne. 2 weeks ago, I buried my husband of 15 years, Robert. We had what I thought was a perfect marriage. No children by mutual choice, but a beautiful home in the suburbs and matching careers in finance. At least that's what I believed until the day of his funeral. Anne, you're holding up so well. Martha, my best friend since college, squeezed my hand as we stood in the funeral home receiving line. I'm numb, honestly, I replied, accepting another sympathetic hug from a colleague. It still doesn't feel real that the heart attack took him so suddenly. He was too young, offered David, Robert's tennis partner. Just last month, we were planning that trip to Scottsdale. The trip he suddenly had to cancel, I recalled, frowning slightly. Work emergency, he said. Funny, I don't remember any emergencies at the office then, remarked David. Martha's eyes suddenly widened, focusing on something behind me. Anne, who is that woman with the teenage boy? They just walked in and they look upset. I turned to see a striking blonde woman in her early 40s, clutching the arm of a boy who couldn't be more than 14. The resemblance to Robert was unmistakable. Same prominent nose, same deep-set eyes. I have no idea, I whispered, a cold sensation spreading through my chest. The woman approached, her eyes red-rimmed but her chin held high. You must be Anne, she said, her voice carrying a slight southern accent. I'm Sarah. This is James, Robert's son. The room seemed to tilt sideways. Excuse me? I managed, my voice barely audible. Mom, maybe we shouldn't do this here, the boy murmured, looking uncomfortable. No, James. We have every right to be here, Sarah insisted, then turned back to me. I'm sure this comes as a shock, but Robert and I have been together for 16 years. He's been living with us in Oak Ridge every other week for 14 years. James is his son. That's impossible, I stammered. Robert was with me. We were married. He managed just fine, Sarah interrupted, her tone bitter. All those business trips? Those late nights at the office? He was with us? Martha stepped forward protectively. I think you need to leave, now. We just came to pay our respects, Sarah said, her eyes never leaving mine. Robert was James's father, after all. Security, Martha called sharply. After they escorted Sarah and James out, I collapsed into a chair in the private family room. Did you know? I demanded, suddenly suspicious of everyone. Martha shook her head. No, but there were rumors at the Christmas party last year. Robert was getting calls from someone named S. I thought it was just office gossip. 15 years, I whispered. Our entire marriage was a lie. Not entirely, said a new voice. Thomas, Robert's lawyer and our friend, stood in the doorway. Anne, there's something you should know. Robert left everything to you, every penny. The house, investments, insurance, all of it? Thomas nodded grimly. And based on what just happened out there, I suspect he knew this day would come. We need to talk. After the service. The next morning, I sat across from Thomas in his office, the will spread between us. It's ironclad, Thomas explained. Robert revised it just 3 months ago. Everything goes to you as his legal wife. But what about them? I asked, my voice hollow. There's no mention of them anywhere, Thomas said, which is unusual if he'd been maintaining this other life for so long. Can they contest it? I asked. They can try, but Robert was meticulous. He even included a clause specifically stating that any claims from romantic partners outside the marriage would be automatically dismissed. He knew, I said quietly. He knew they'd come forward when he died. Looks that way, Thomas agreed. Anne, I've arranged for you to meet with Detective Miller. She specializes in financial fraud investigations. She might help you understand what Robert was doing. Did you ever suspect anything? I asked Thomas suddenly. Thomas sighed heavily. I noticed inconsistencies in what he'd tell me about his weekends or trips. But Robert was always private about personal matters. 2 hours later, I was sitting across from Detective Miller, a sharp-eyed woman with salt and pepper hair. From what I can tell, she said, spreading out bank statements, Robert maintained 2 completely separate financial lives, the accounts you shared and another set in Oak Ridge. How is that even possible? I asked. Carefully, she replied dryly. But here's what's interesting. He was systematically moving money from the Oak Ridge accounts to your joint accounts over the past year. Like he was choosing me in the end? I finished, the realization hitting hard. Maybe, Miller conceded. Regular payments to an account in Sarah's name stopped about 18 months ago. Instead, he started making large deposits to your investment account. The timing coincides with his will revision. So he was pulling away from them, I murmured. Financially, at least, Miller confirmed. As if on cue, my phone rang. Unknown number. Anne, it's Sarah. We need to talk. I have nothing to say to you, I replied coldly. Listen to me, Sarah hissed. Robert promised us security. James is his son. He wouldn't leave us with nothing. Apparently he would, I countered, my shock hardening into anger. You don't understand. He was planning to leave you. He just needed to get his affairs in order first. Is that what he told you? For 16 years? I asked incredulously. Silence on the other end. Then, this isn't over, Sarah warned. James deserves his father's legacy. After hanging up, I called Martha immediately. She's threatening to fight for the inheritance, I told her. Let her try, Martha replied fiercely. We've got the law on our side. And listen to me. Robert was a lying, cheating bastard. But in the end, he chose to protect you. Use that. What if the boy really is his son? I whispered. Then Robert should have provided for him legally, Martha said firmly. You don't owe them anything. 3 days later, Sarah demanded a meeting. We met at Thomas's office with Martha beside me. Sarah arrived with James and her brother Michael. Let's be clear, Sarah began immediately, her southern drawl more pronounced. Robert and I were together for 16 years. He was James's father in every way that matters. Except legally, Thomas interjected. There's no father listed on James's birth certificate. Robert wanted to protect everyone involved, Sarah insisted. You mean he wanted to have his cake and eat it too? I replied, surprising myself with my steadiness. Robert loved us. He was building a life with us in Oak Ridge. While married to me, I pointed out. Did you know that, Sarah? Did you know he was married? Of course she knew, James suddenly burst out. Mom has a picture of your wedding announcement. She kept it in her drawer. She always said Dad would leave you eventually. James, Sarah hissed. That's enough. How long did you think you'd wait? I asked. 5 years? 10? When exactly was Robert going to leave his wife for you? He was working on it, Sarah insisted, but her confidence was visibly wavering. While he moved money away from you and into our accounts, I said softly. Robert made promises to us, Sarah said, her composure cracking. He said James would be taken care of. Then he lied to you, I said simply, just like he lied to me. If James is Robert's son, Michael began. It wouldn't change anything, Thomas interrupted. The will is explicit. Robert left everything to Anne. This isn't fair! Sarah stood abruptly. We depended on him! That's not my problem, I replied. Robert made his choices. Now we all have to live with them. Anne, Sarah's tone changed, softening. I'm sorry you had to find out this way. Maybe we can work something out for James's sake. No, I said firmly. I don't accept your apology and I don't owe you anything. Dad promised me I could go to college, James said quietly. Your mother should have made sure those promises were in writing, I said. Sarah's face contorted with rage. You heartless bitch! You'll regret this! She lunged across the table. Michael caught her arm, but not before she knocked over a water pitcher that drenched my blouse. That's assault, Thomas said sharply, already calling security. This isn't over, Sarah snarled as Michael dragged her toward the door. As they left, James paused in the doorway, his young face hard with hatred. My dad would be ashamed of you. The door slammed behind them. The restraining order against Sarah was granted immediately. Detective Miller confirmed James was indeed Robert's biological son, but the judge dismissed Sarah's claim against the estate, citing the specific language in Robert's will. A week later, I ran into Michael at the grocery store. Sarah's not coming after you anymore, he said. I've convinced her it's a lost cause. Thank you, I said cautiously. She's not a bad person, he continued. Robert made her a lot of promises. He made me promises too, I reminded him. Vows, actually. Michael nodded. For what it's worth, I told her years ago this would end badly. Robert was never going to choose. In the end, he did choose, I said. Just not the way any of us expected. James is the one I worry about, Michael admitted. Kid lost his father twice. 2 weeks later, Martha helped me host a small gathering of friends who had stood by me. To new beginnings, Martha toasted, raising her glass. Have you decided what you're going to do with the money? Thomas asked. Some of it is going into a trust, I said. For James's education. Anonymous donor. He'll never know it came from me. That's generous, Martha remarked. After everything they put you through. It's not for them, I clarified. It's for me, so I can move forward knowing I didn't punish an innocent kid for his parents' mistakes. And the rest? Thomas asked. I'm selling the house, I decided. Starting fresh somewhere new. Maybe open that bookstore I always talked about. The one Robert always said wasn't practical? Martha remembered. Exactly that one, I smiled. Turns out I don't need his permission anymore. As my friends chatted around me, I felt something I hadn't expected. Possibility. My phone buzzed with a text from Sarah. Can we please talk? Just once more. I blocked the number without replying. Later, standing on my porch with Martha, I finally felt the weight lifting. You know what Robert never understood? I said quietly. That real love isn't divided. It's multiplied. He could never give either of us his whole heart. But you've got your whole heart back now, Martha pointed out. What are you going to do with it? I smiled, realizing the answer was entirely up to me. Something authentic, I replied. Something true. Have you ever discovered that someone you trusted completely was living a double life? What would you do if you found yourself in Anne's position? Let me know in the comments below.